Hey, what's going on? So today I wanted to go over a cool item that I found, kind of in line with some of my other videos on how to, cut your cable and get TV in your house and through all these new, digital boxes and things like that. I did previous videos like using Sling TV, which I don't actually use anymore. I also just use Apple TVs in my house, but recently with football season starting, I realized I have this antenna solution that's pretty janky. You can see right here. And so I needed something, needed an easy way to be able to basically get local, network stations on my Apple TV. You can kind of get the different apps, the CBS app, but then you got to pay for that. And then you can get, like, let's say you want ABC app, but the ABC app is very limited. It's only certain shows that are on there, and I don't know, they just don't really work as just getting the live action stream. And I just want, on Sunday, I want to just be, or Sunday or Saturdays when football's on, or just live sport events, I want to just be able to tune in on my Apple TV very easily, not cost me anything, at least on a monthly basis. And so what I came across actually was this Homerun, this is called HDhomerun Connect. Essentially, it's a little box that looks like a modem, and what you're supposedly able to do is just plug a TV antenna into it, hook it into your network router, and then using Plex, an app called Plex, I'll be able to tap into the antenna from any TV in my house that's running Apple TV. Yeah, really, I just want to see how it works. I'm pretty excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and just film this real quick and see how much I can get set up and see if I can get it working. All right, so let's see what we got here. You can see it's pretty small. Ethernet cable, and then here is the power brick. Pretty simple. All right, so here is the closet where I keep basically all my, this is like the control center for my house, right? The network backbone. This is nothing really too amazing. It's just a consumer level router here. You see I have a couple things plugged into it. I got an external USB. I got my Philips home hub plugged into it. I got the Insteon home hub plugged into it, control some lights. And then of course my computer. This goes to my computer. So I actually have used all 4 ports. This is the input from the internet and then the 4 outputs to different network devices in my house. So that's going to create a problem, right? Because I have this HDhomerun, which needs to plug in there to the network. And the way you solve that is you have to use something called a network switch. So basically you plug one of those into here, a network switch into one of these ports, and then you get 4 more ports out of it, or however many you have. I mean, cheap 4-port one's like $10. So I forgot that these were all used up, so I can't really hook up the HDhomerun Connect just yet. D-Link, there it is, actually, 5-port. Fast Ethernet switch, so get that hooked up real quick. All right, so what I had to end up doing here in the utility closet was I tried the antenna pretty much everywhere in this closet, and it would pick up some channels sometimes, and then a lot of the times it would go out. So what I ended up doing was like thinking I had to put it outside to get the best reception. So what I did is I ran the coaxial here and dropped it behind the wall. And that goes down into the crawl space, which I'll show you here. You can see a little bit. And then what I did was I ran the coaxial through a side vent there just to get the cable outside. That way I could mess with the antenna and put it in different positions outside. Now, I will say that it took me a pretty good amount of trial and error placing it around the backyard and everything. The only place I ended up getting really, really good reception was up here on the roof. So you can see I just basically threw it in there in between a shingle, and that's not gonna be the permanent installation, of course. But it got everything working like a champ, finally, is the first place, because I've tried a bunch of different places in my house as well, and it was just kind of spotty. So I finally got everything set up, and it's been a while of trial and error, but now that I got the antenna in a good position, I can go ahead and show you how everything works. All right, so I just wanted to take a quick minute or two to explain technically what is going on with this whole setup. So I showed you the antenna outside. Now this is a $20 over-the-air HD antenna. So what it does is it grabs a signal and it sends it into this. This is the HDhomerun Connect box, and this is just a power LED on the front. And this is a 2-tuner box, just meaning you can watch on 2 different devices at the same time. Once you go to a 3rd device, I'll show you here, it will pop up on the 3rd device you're trying to watch. It will prompt you to close out one of the other TVs, so it'll kick the other person out, whoever's watching it. But you can get more tuner boxes. They're available. They make a 4-tuner one and some extensions. But in any event, these just light up every time a tuner is being used. And so, again, the signal comes into the box and it goes out over the Ethernet cable. And Ethernet, you just plug it into your router. And what that will allow you to do is it means the signal can be broadcast anywhere in your home over your network. And that means you can get and watch TV on basically any device that has Wi-Fi on it. And you can see on the back of this box here, these are all the devices that this thing is compatible with. So if you have any of these devices, you'll be able to get that TV signal. So if you notice Plex here, I don't actually use anything in my house to watch stuff on except for an Apple TV. In case you were curious, the Apple TV is up here in the ceiling, and I just output HDMI into this projector, which projects it on the screen. And on Apple TV, what I do is I run Plex. So I'll just show you how you're able to get those local channels. And the thing is, I just happen to use Apple TV. You can, you can run Plex on Fire Sticks and Android OS or Android TV or whatever. And basically, any good media device, Roku's, are going to be able to run Plex. So it's going to be more or less the same. But I'll just show you here. When you go into the app, you'll get a section after a little bit of setup. And well, you can skip forward here if you don't want to watch this part, but I am going to just go through the computer for a minute and show you how to set it up in the Plex app so you get this live TV thing to show up. So let's go over here to the computer and you launch the Plex Media Server app. I'm assuming you already have it installed, but let's go ahead and just get it installed if you don't. And what you do is you go up here into the settings and click on Server. And then down here in this list, you'll see live TV and DVR. It's actually not in beta anymore, but it's a little bit older footage. And all you have to do is click through here, and your network device should be discovered. As you can see here, this is the first time I've launched it and opened it up. And then what you do is you just want to go ahead and click the scan channel, so it scans all the airwaves and locks in all the different channels that are available. And that takes a couple of minutes to run, so let's go ahead and let that get finished. So when it's finally all done, you see all your local channels here, and you'll get a bunch of different ones. So you can trim this list down to just the ones you want to see on your screen and get rid of the junky channels. Just enter your zip code here because it does download a program guide, although within Plex I've never been able to. Okay, so I found out where the program guide is within Plex. So once you launch the Plex Media Server, go over here under program guide, and then this is here where all the TV shows come up. And it shows what's coming up, and to record it, all you have to do is just hit record on one of those. And I don't have the library set up, but all you have to do is set up a TV show library, and this library will show up within Plex, and you can watch all your recorded shows. So that's pretty cool. I just discovered this while I was finishing this video, so I just wanted to put that in to show you that that feature is in there, and it looks pretty good. So here are all the channels that came up with, and you can deselect or rename these channels, and select or deselect whichever ones you want to show up when you're going through the guide. And yeah, that's it. So you just click through the DVR setup and the rest of the screens, and then you should be good to go. And what you'll end up with is a bunch of the album art here that pulls in for all available channels. And then let's go ahead and take a look at it a little closer on the big screen. So once you get it set up through the Plex app, which is essentially just doing a channel scan, it should show you a live TV option box here. And these are the these are just the 6 local channels that I got tuned in. Usually if you don't clean this up, you can clean this up through the Plex app of what it shows you. You'll get like 50 or 60 channels here, half of them which won't be in English, half of them will be like religious, and then QVC home shopping style channels. So I took all those off. I was left with the main channels that I'll ever use for live sports or events like the Grammys, things like that. I don't really watch too many network shows, but if you do, it works great. Like you can see here, I have ABC on the left, Fox, the old movie channel in the middle. That's NBC, PBS, and then CBS on the far right. And that's it. That's just the full broadcast live TV. And you can see you can just tap on one here or click on one of the channels, and it does take a second or two to load up. And once it does, you see here is a full 1080p uncompressed HD signal for free. Well, once you get the hardware set up, of course, but no monthly fee. And you can see it works really great. The only thing is it's a little bit slow to change channels, but I'm not usually flipping through these channels surfing. I'm usually watching something specific, so I don't really care. Because once it's tuned in, it's good to go. And there it is. So here on the Apple TV, I'll show you where you just go into the Plex app, and once you have the DVR set up, you'll have this TV shows library, and within here is where you'll get all your recordings. So once you set the show to be recorded, as I show you, as you can do in the program guide on the Plex Media Server app. Once you set it, then you can go in here and watch it, which is pretty sweet. The only thing is you can't really set a recording. There's no program guide available anywhere in Plex that I can find, so hopefully they'll add that later. But in any event, once you do get this shows recorded, they show up here, and it works really, really well. So there's one other feature with the Plex app which is pretty cool. That does do time shifting. So with the HD Home Run, if you use a device that runs that app, you can do DVR recordings, but you do have to pay a monthly subscription charge for that. I don't really think that's worth it. But what you can do through the Plex app, it does do time shifting, so you can see down there that it buffers how much or for how long I've been watching. And all I have to do is, you can just select a different time period to rewind it essentially, or pause it and it will come in. And there you go. So what you can do is you can time shift using the Plex app. Pretty sweet, I think. So yeah, that's how I get those local channels on the Apple TV. I just use Plex and it works really good. So I do think this HDhomerun Connect is a really great solution if you're looking for a way to get your local network channels into your house, onto all your screens in your house, on your mobile devices, tablets, computer, desktop, PC, laptop. You can pretty much run it on anything and watch the video. Now with my own personal setup using Plex through Apple TV, I really like that solution because I use Plex already to watch downloaded content that I download online, videos and movies and TV shows. My whole movie library is on there. I use it for PC game recording footage, so I watch it on any of my TVs, and for drone footage as well. So I think that's a pretty good setup, not having to add a whole nother app to your list of apps you probably already have on your devices, like Netflix and HBO and things like that. And this was really the last step for me in kind of cutting the cable and or satellite subscription. I probably am not going to have one of those ever in the future. And although my experience with the HDhomerun Connect has been pretty good, once I was finally able to lock in a signal, transitioning completely to a cord cutting solution is really not without its own frustrations. You don't really get DVR if you're used to that without paying something or some kind of configuration. There's some streaming apps that just straight up suck, like ESPN. If there's a big game, you pretty much forget about watching it. Or if you like to watch a lot of obscure channels, it's kind of hard to get that content. So if you're a big time TV watcher, I think the transition would be a little bit tough overall. But to me, it's well worth it. Not having to have a monthly cable bill, and just having one single media box connected to all my TVs, and that's all I really use for video content. I think that simplicity really is pretty nice. Now, you don't have to have an Apple TV set up to have a setup similar to mine. Any popular home media streaming box you already use, you're going to be able to have this setup. And I personally might even actually try NVIDIA Shield, because I think that's a pretty nice box and it's a really fast UI. Now, this isn't completely free, of course. You've got to have a media box or a TV that already works with it. But once you spend maybe $100 for a Homerun Connect to get the tuner box and another cheap antenna for like 20 or 30 bucks, you should be good to go. And with that, you pretty much get access to all network programming, all your live shows, Emmys, Grammys, or Oscars, Victoria's Secret model shows, all your regular network shows, your nightly news. With CBS, you're going to get NFL games. Fox, you can watch NFL. And all the other live sports, X Games, Olympics. I mean, there's a lot of different programming you can get for free once you get past this original setup. So I think that's pretty sweet to be able to get an uncompressed HD signal over the air for free. But that's all I really have to say. If you have any specific questions about the setup or my setup or your setup that you might be going for in your own house, definitely leave me a comment. I respond to all comments, generally speaking. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching to the end, and you all take care.